welcome back to Contact, Space Engineers Survival Series, where, well, we look like we're, I don't know, this looks like just scrapper galore. We've become reavers or something. But, anyway, aside from the carnage that we're witnessing, we're in our new home, kind of tucked in, I think in the light. We didn't really see it in the light before. Yeah. This seems pretty good, I think. Yeah, this is sort of in plane with the dock. Again, I think gravity here is going to get a little funny. Now I have noticed, at least from this angle, and I may have to trim a little bit of this, because I'd kind of like for the Stingray to be able to fly. Ooh, or, okay, either I trim some of that, or I actually, oh, this is going to get wacky. I may have the Stingray dock at an angle, like not on the grid at all, because I want it to be able to fly through this hole. Like, you know, I'd go in forward and then come out forward. So that is that. Where are... Oh, there they are. So I, off camera, did sort of consolidate all of this stuff. I don't think this is how it's going to exist in its final form, but slapped the little command thing onto here and then added some power just so it didn't go away. Yeah, I think my goal for today is going to be to get this sort of in position somewhere, basically get the base itself set up how I intend to have it. I think part of that, unfortunately, it's in the dark side. There's my other end. So, out here at the back of the base, it's pretty well protected, all things considered. It's kind of this big opening here. There's also this divot. And I think this divot may actually be the perfect spot for the printing thing. It will be pretty far away from the base, as we can see. But I think if it's sort of stuck in here, I don't know, maybe off of this wall somehow, I should be able to orient it so that the gantry comes off of this wall with the welders sort of back on, welders against the rock, so that the opening to space is the exiting area. So I think, yeah, let's go ahead. We're disconnected. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to use the Stingray for this. I think I may, let's go ahead and free the Maluga and let it get back to where it lives. And I may see if I can fix, yeah, it's that thruster. Get some, at least some functional repairs so that I can better control some of this stuff. I do wonder, I've got plenty of power on this thing for maneuvering. No, it'll be better. So the Maluga is, of course, smaller, which might give it an advantage. It would be less mass added to the printer to try and move it, but it's also much less thrusty. And I think thrust to weight ratio, I imagine, in fact, just accelerating, I can feel it. Thrust to weight ratio on the Stingray is miles better. I can see ore deposits, though. That's where the silicon is. Was there... see, it's pretty easy to target this asteroid. What all is it saying we have? So we definitely have silicon, definitely have stone, and it looks like ice. Oops, wrong button. I wonder where the ice is. I may end up at some point doing a little swoop around past just to detect it. But for now, we can conveniently tuck ourselves in right in here. There we go. Oh. Right. I will have to fix gravity at some point. I probably shouldn't be venting atmosphere to space if I can avoid it. Yeah. Nice and convenient and fairly easy to get in and out. Oh, right. Conveyors are broken. I was wondering, this repair welder should be repairing this thruster. And in fact, I think it welded real quick and I think I saw it spark. Oh, I forgot to grab it. Is this? Oh, and this isn't conveyored either, dang it. Anyway, one of the biggest sort of challenges, biggest threats to any space engineer's ship is generally the conveyor system. Because the conveyor system is, well, without redundancy, if you snap off a bit, it's just gonna gone. And there are certain places, like your main engineering core, where you don't expect to have redundancy because you don't expect it to get shot. So that may be a lesson I take into the refit when that comes about. Because I think that will... It could benefit the Stingray to have a little bit... At the very least... Well, I do have 2 conveyors here. They all go into this main conveyor tunnel. Which is probably part of the issue, and there's some things broken. Yeah, no. We'll see what I do. I'll probably end up having still some choke points where damage to that conveyor will cripple half the ship. But at least I know about it. Ow. Oh, right. That should make things a little easier. Now I still don't have a lot of gyroscope power on board. Can rebuild some of my normal internal thrust. Not thrust. Yeah, rebuild some of these guys. Oh, I'm low on everything. Cut through. I did connect up that upper area just so I have, well, have easy access. It's all so connected, I should be able to get rid of those. Okay. So that's 4 more gyros. Now, sluggish, but much better than it was. Got full thrust again. Yeah, this should be manageable. There you are. Oh. It should work. I think that I will have to flip the welding gantry upside down to get it in the orientation I want. Okay. What is that? Don't recall anything breaking, though it has been a minute. And clearly something did. This may have been a very obvious something, I don't know.
Full.
But now it is a floating pipe. Magnets. Convert to ship is not possible, that's okay. Huh, strange. Okay. So let's just start popping blocks down. That should let me put myself kind of roughly right in the middle, which maybe I don't want to do. I'm trying to envision the asteroid I'm trying to stick this in, where I'll be least in the way. And I think what I actually want to do, that same sort of height, but way over here on this end, because this corner should be the sort of most open to space. Now, I can't remember, I think I made this into a station. Guess we'll find out. Seems to be. There we go. Let me real quick. Before I do any, converting, we know what happens, or can happen. Move this guy. We'll hold him here for now. I'll probably dock this up, maybe to the connector inside, because I will need it in a moment. Okay. Yeah, we should have enough maneuverability to get this wrangled in. Now, the biggest trick here is finding which hole in the armor I enter the bridge from. And, more importantly, figuring out kind of the orientation, how I want to stick this in. So, I maybe should talk now about my plans for how the conveying is going to work, because it's going to get pretty complex. So, I think what I'm going to do is essentially connect things together using a series of conveyors on hinges, so they can sort of move around at weird angles, because a lot of this stuff, I think, is going to be off-axis. It's not going to be to the grid. So to make that work, I need my conveying not to go to the grid. And I need to be able to manipulate and maneuver it in weird ways. And I think, actually, part of that, I'll get this in position, roughly, but I won't lock it down until I have the conveying laid. Because I may even be able to get away without that. Which is a, if I can avoid off-grid, at least in some places, that'll probably help me out. Oh, this is getting tricky. There are only so many subgrids you can do before things start to go a little funny. Let's orient ourselves. Hopefully the spotlights will start lighting up, and you can see they're already doing a bit. As I get in here, they'll help make it a little easier to see what I'm about to crash into. Oh yeah. That's something else I definitely want to do in here, is have a bunch of lights around the base to highlight the cavern. Oh, okay. Radio. That lower... Oh, in fact, that lower thing just smacked into the ground. Okay, we'll call that done. Yeah, there's maybe a little less room in here than I originally envisioned. But that's in position. Now how... I think for starters, let's get some of those lights going. Alright. A bit of illumination. Now, how do these guys work? Yeah, that should be right. Yeah. This will be cool. Actually, do these coming off the bottom more. So part of why I'm focusing on this is because it will make it a little easier for me to figure out the... well, to see the walls so I can see the conveyoring, see what I'm doing. Okay. So that's the cavern, mostly lit up. I may do something similar up here. Possibly off of this tower, but for now. Where is... okay. So there's the gantry. I may actually be able to conveyor to this thing without having to get weird. If I kind of run... what is this way anyway? This was just rock. Good. So if I just start running line here, I can connect in with the side. Like so. I want to do that one earlier. If I run this all the way down, I should at least get a good sense of positioning. Dang. It is gonna go into the rock, which I don't want. Okay. We're gonna start doing the Whacky. So, because this sort of has a sloping angle, if I put a hinge here, I can do one long line that'll sort of bridge, and I should be able to basically just connect into here. Yeah, so if I angle it like so, that should let me get fairly far. In fact, that'll let me get the whole way. Yeah. Okay. So with that like so, what I'm gonna do is actually push it back in And I may. This is gonna get weird. Let's cut it here. Oh. Okay, I need some bits. You know, this dock may no longer need a sitting area. I think that'll be part of this base refit is probably... I may redo some of the interior to make it make a little more sense. But anyway. Next up, need one of these. I don't 100% know if this will work, but I have a scheme. So if I move that into there, I'm curious. So normally, you can't do, well, and I guess what I'm thinking of, I can't have like one hinge that's connected to itself. So I couldn't connect this chunk back to the station. I think, though, I can convert this chunk to a static grid, which means I can then embed this end into this wall. So it'll be held just enough that it's, you know, there permanently. And that this will still be connected. So let's see. Yes. Now can I... Yep, I'm building into voxel. So there we go. Now, there is a slight danger with this sort of maneuver that it may all explode. If I'm right, sometimes these things break. Hopefully things are more stable than they once were, and that won't happen to us. But, you know, it's something to consider. It should hold up enough for me to at least feel safe. Safe trying it. And that can also happen with just general subgridery, so I think we'll be fine. My goal is to do this with as few subgrids as possible, so I think I should be able to manage it. Looking at positioning, I should only need that hinge and a hinge at this end, and I should be able to make it work. So that's 3 subgrids to connect this up in a way that I like. I may make a new subgrid here, because I kind of want this thing further in. Which, while we're doing that, let's disconnect this boy. Ow. We'll use our tug to get that out the way. We'll probably reposition it somewhere once I have this more in. I should be able to send this pipe down that crack, which should put it kind of right where I want it. This will be a lot to weld up, but should at least be fairly satisfying once it's all there. Something I will do while I'm thinking about it. If I turn these hinges off, hopefully that means it's less likely to freak out. So we can now convert that one. Turn this hinge off. Is this roughly... I mean, this is almost gonna line up the angles all cattywampus, but this is looking pretty good. And do I actually want to... align it to that angle. Okay. If I just align it more or less to that grid that exists, it's almost touching down in the lower corner. That's actually not bad. If I look from the outside, I mean, it is still exposed. Everything here is still a little exposed. But that's not horrible. So maybe I don't need that rotor I was building. Wherever I was building it. Down here. Yeah, if I just do another hinge. I should be able to align everything pretty well here. Yeah, I should be able to get this such that I just need one more hinge. Though, I'm gonna need to start rotating some ways to make this work. Something too. Do I want... I actually maybe don't need it to go that far, funnily enough. And I kind of want... Okay. Let's revert some of this. And I'm gonna start doing some changes here. Should be able... Hopefully I can hold all this junk. I can put it in... Nope, I can't put it in that connector because I'm about to grind off that connector. Fine. Over into the base it goes. So I want to change this piping up to flip everything. Do I? Yeah, I do. I do. Definitely do. I want to build a little, not much, but a sort of little tower thing. That'll go over. Yeah. Little tower thing built off of this. That basically, it's just gonna be probably an airlock into a little thing. It'll have the conveying coming in the bottom. And then that control tower sort of stuck on top, kind of up here. Probably. It'll get a little weird. We'll see how it goes. So, airlock. And then this is the actual shaft of the tower. And so I can have the piping coming in to here from below. Though I may not. For a couple of reasons. One, I want to have conveying going up so that I can have the control tower thing pressurized. And two, I kind of want this tower to run at least down the height of this and up, so it's sort of like a little handle attaching everything together. So if I have my... There we go. If I have my conveying coming up here, I can actually... run this straight down And that is the thing I need to connect onto this grid. Which is going to be hard. Okay, with that there, I can then have conveying that goes up. To the top here. And then onto this, I can stick that other thing. Getting this wedged in here is going to be a trick. Okay. Little tug. Let's see if you can make this happen. Need to get this up over the thing. Thread it through the rocks and then merge it to the top of that gantry. Let's go nice and slow. Try not to crash into the stingray or that rock protrusion. It's always the roll that's the hardest. Now I hope this fits. Because if it doesn't, and if it doesn't, I may just grind it down. At the very least, I could grind parts of it and rebuild them into the rock once we're sort of in position. Oh boy. Oh, it's cozy. My camera is not very good. If I... Okay. Okay, no, it's not going to fit. But maybe it could. If I can connect... This is tight. Okay.
Inventory full.
Well, drop that one and cause problems. So if I drop that, if that is going in here, I may just have a chance. Or even here. In fact, I like it. It's not like the back windows are going to be particularly interesting. So if I put my merge block here, put that merge block onto this one, so long as it's good at the front, I think that'll give me enough clearance. Okay. Almost looking alright. See if we can get magnets going. Oh, there they are. Can't see much, but I can feel it. Let's just see. Come on, baby, come on. Hey! Alright. Then air vent right there. That's now locked in 2 positions. And I still have a spot right here, and I can have the ladder come up. We'll work with that later. I could even potentially run extra little supports and connect things in. But yeah, that seems good. Just out of curiosity. And I can look down and see what's going on. That window kind of sucks. Do I... While I'm being pedantic, do I drop it down another level? I have the room, I think. Yeah. Ooh. No, I don't. That will not align with that. So that's the position it has to be. Oh, well, that's fine. Ow. Okay, let's get the tug out of here. Because now, the even trickier part is getting the rest of this attached up to everything. So I don't need this to go all the way over. In fact, here is probably where I want my hinge up. Let's twist things. So I need to rotate to the left to try and get that aligned. Does the tug? It does have a camera. Okay, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna completely disorient myself. And then I'm gonna do something a little wacky. So if I position the tug down here, I should be able to use this to gauge when I'm roughly in the right position. So I can remote into that camera, assuming the Stingray still has an antenna, which I think it does. Yeah. Now if I'm right, can I... Yes, I can control my rotation from here. Currently I'm hinging off of the stone, which isn't great, but that seems about right. Okay. I think my angle's good. So I should be able to lock things down, hopefully without damaging that corner. Let's get our line in place, and then should be ready to set up for the merge. So if I place some merge blocks down here, I should be able to hopefully wrangle this thing into position. Oh, in fact, they're already glowing. That does push it over a bit too much. This gets awkward. Okay. I'm gonna do something a little wacky here. Turn that off just in case. I want this over one to the right so I have a little bit more clearance for everything. Ooh. Almost everything. So if I separate that, I can turn that not into a ship. Now this whole thing can move. The hinge locks mean those hinges are rigid. Then put these guys down here. Actually, all but remove these. No need to fly all the way back for parts. So I should be able to use the tug to now shift this into position. Yep. Okay. Well, that didn't work. So that's what I talked about with things potentially exploding. It didn't like that for some reason. I don't know. Something may have been incorrect. Luckily, the tug survived. Let's just, yeah, check back along, make sure I didn't detonate the station somehow. Well, now we can line things up the way I want them. Which I think I overshot again. So, now align this. That seems pretty good. I am going to real quick make sure everything is a station. Ooh. That is something I just remembered. And it's gonna be a real problem here. So sometimes merging these grids into things, it blows up because the grid the non-static grid is larger than the static one. Therefore, the static one freaks out. So maybe we don't build this one in. In fact, maybe we don't convert this. I don't know if this is better or worse. I'm going to leave that one as a free-floating grid. My hope is that this stuff is all static, but because this is being merged onto a hinge, my hope is that it won't cause any weird physicsy glitches. Let's position the tug down here so we can kind of see things. Then we try to merge. Okay, what just happened? Those merged. Ah. Okay, that corner didn't like being in the ground. You know, I can live with that. The tug survived. We're now attached to this. Let's real quick remember that I already have one of these on here. Convert to station. Alright. Well, it's not welded yet. Some parts blew up. Did the top survive? Oh yeah, top has plenty of room. Wicked. Yeah, so we've now got our welding gantry stuck into the asteroid. It's in there all cool, kind of lighting stuff up. It's connected off-axis, off-grid, to the base. Just need to weld some stuff. I would say that's pretty good. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end it for today. Today was probably actually a normal length episode. I didn't intend for that. This week and the next few weeks, the episodes may be a little shorter because I have a bunch of traveling going on, so I kind of have to fit stuff in where I can. But that, well, yeah, we'll figure stuff out. We've got a lot of stuff to do, so hopefully it'll be interesting if abbreviated. But all that'll come in the future. For now, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye-bye.